Come on, let's go search for those crates.
Welcome back. Dragon Age 2 with Zoe Hawke, episode 23 getting underway. And like Meryl said, let's go search those crates. So what are we doing? We've moved into a warehouse in the Docks district. And last time we left off, if you recall, we were sort of in the middle of a quest called Gamlen's Greatest Treasure. It all started with a crumpled note in Gamlen's house that mentioned the gem of Karashek. That led to a contact named Meckel in Darktown who tried to kill us for the gem. And on his body we found out something about the Wallop mallet in Gamlen's house. That led us to the elven tree in the alienage, where someone was standing there saying, "Oh, anyone who mentioned Wallop mallets I was supposed to give this note to." And the note said that one of these shipping containers contains the gem of Karashek, or the next step, etc. So here we are. Take a deep breath. Let's try to figure out what's going on in this crate and with this quest.
I wonder what's in these crates. Something seems off. It's a trap! Well done, everyone.
Alright, nothing like starting off with a big action-packed fight. Let's see if there are any clues on this mercenary commander's corpse over here.
So they were to capture Gamlen and take him to the caverns. Sounds like the opening of a bad romance story.
It's time to end this charade.
Okay, so the mercenaries were hired to capture Gamlen, and that may seem a little weird, but keep in mind, all these steps we've been doing for this quest, Gamlen was the one they were intended for. It's just that, recall, he crumpled up the initial note at the very beginning and didn't do anything about it, right? And we've just sort of stepped in with curiosity piqued and decided to, follow through on this. So, that's what all this is about. And indeed, it's time to end this charade. We need to figure out who's behind all these cryptic notes and this wild goose chase and Easter egg hunting and all the rest, okay? So, once and for all, we're gonna get to the bottom of it, Devatron.
Piece of cake!
so, Gamlen couldn't even be bothered to come himself. I should have expected he'd send you, cousin.
You have a cousin?
I have a cousin?
Gamlen never told you. Of course he didn't. Why would he?
Sorry to interrupt this touching family reunion, but we have unfinished business here.
Veld! What are you doing here?
Meckel is dead. That bitch killed him.
What's a Meckel?
My brother. Meckel was my brother, and you killed him.
That doesn't make sense. Meckel was just supposed to hand over the note.
You really think we didn't read it? We know about the gem charade. Hand it over. I won't let Meckel's death be for nothing.
You let your brother go up against someone like Hawke for a stupid gem? You know what? I did find the gem, but you're not getting your pathetic little hands on it, Veld.
Fine. We'll do this the hard way.
Don't give him an inch! Let's go! Get off me!
You're pretty useful in a fight. You don't take after Gamlen at all.
And I wouldn't have taken you for his daughter. What with being able to fight.
I guess I should take that as a compliment. My mother, Mara, she left Gamlen before I was born. He was so fixated on finding that stupid gem, I doubt he even noticed she was gone. She told me about Gamlen before she died last year. I didn't even know about him.
You told Veld you had the gem. Were you lying?
Not at all. I found the gem. I managed to pull off what Gamlen couldn't.
You set this whole thing up just so you could meet your father?
I just wanted to see, I don't know, how far he'd go for something he really wanted. And then he doesn't even show up. I baited him with the one thing I thought would get his attention.
He's got some good qualities. You might be surprised.
Really? What do you think I should do?
I think you should go talk to Gamlen. Does he even know about you?
I'm not sure.
Maybe give him a chance before you write him off.
I think I will. Having a cousin turned out to be a good thing. Maybe having a father will too.
Okay, surprise, surprise. Gamlen has a daughter, which means, yeah, Zoe has a cousin. And what a woman she is behind all of this big, long, wild goose chase just to try to meet her father. So pretty cool quest, and we'll wrap it up when we're back in Kirkwall. We'll check on Gamlen and his daughter, who I believe is named Charade, which is just a pun because of all the charading going on throughout the quest. As for the fight, really hard fight. think it may be the first time I got it on the first try, so I couldn't be happier with the group's performance. And what you're seeing is not so much that Act 3 is easier than Act 2. That was in many ways just as hard as a lot of fights in Act 2 that totally kick your ass. It's just, we've got the levels, we've got the gear, we got the tactics, so we're able to hang a little better. Okay, so while we're out and about, we're going to hit up the Wounded Coast and get into some trouble out here.
Hold there!
Who are you?
The name's Evitz. As in Evitz Marauders. The folk you killed a few years back. Now you're going to die for what you've done.
Messing with us is suicidal.
Okay, Evitt's revenge didn't quite go as he planned.
We're out of Kirkwall, but not out of the Knight Commander's reach.
And if you recall, he was one of those bandits from, or raiders rather, from Raiders on the Cliff. Big fight in Act 2 we did out here. Now that scroll we just picked up, it looked like a codex entry, but it's actually kind of an Easter egg quest, the start of a 3-part quest. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the names. I think it's the Awagian Scrolls or something. Basically, when you pick one up, it triggers an encounter a little bit elsewhere on the map you're in, and it's a big, badass undead fight, and you're about to see it. And then, once you've done all 3 of the scrolls, a new quest triggers back in Kirkwall. So, it's just, you know, like others, I'll keep you updated as we go. But keep in mind, they're some of the hardest fights in the game.
Go down! May I trust they guide you?
Messing with us is
Do you think they're tiring?
I'm practically
What a waste.
Okay, extremely difficult, extremely dangerous arcane horror there. And notice it's named. It's like Medas or something like this. Um, so these Awaken Scroll quests, it's like I said, it's a really big 4-part quest. I believe called Pride Unbound. And these are not just a bunch of undead. They are named frost horrors, named revenants. I mean, these are like mini boss named folks involved. You know what I mean? And the AI on the frost horrors in particular is very, very deadly. You can see just how much damage they do, and I couldn't get close to him because he does that point blank area effect cold thing. But yet I can't just ignore him and let the party range him, because if the party, the back line, has the aggro, then he does this other spell, which is like, I think it's a spirit-based damage spell that just, it goes poof and your party's dead. I mean, literally just poof, your party's dead. So, that probably took me, no exaggeration, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 tries. And what made this particular part of the master plan very difficult and demanding is you're noticing this is a one take. There isn't any dialogue out here, you know, cutscenes for me to sort of cheat behind, you know, do a save before the cutscene, and then if I wipe on some fights after the cutscene, I can just reload to the save right before the cutscene and start over, and in that way kind of save some progress as I do good on, you know, this fight or that fight. Not the case with this run. I enter, I fight Evitz, I pick up the scroll, I have to fight the big undead fight that you just saw, and then there's some other fights, you know, as we circle around this map until we leave it. So from start to finish, this is a one take, but there are, like, you know, 2 of the hardest fights in Act 3 out here, one of which you just saw. So it was a pretty frustrating part of the master plan, and I knew it was going to be a hard run. You know, sometimes I would get through the undead fight and then die in the next bit, or sometimes I just wouldn't get past the undead and I'd have to try it again, etc. You get the idea. So it's not so much that doing this stuff out here is insane or impossible or anything like that. It's just that doing it on film, right, from start to finish, from when we enter the Wounded Coast until we leave, is all one take, and it involves these really hard fights, and you've got to get them all, you know. So this is, you're seeing some pretty tough stuff as we move around out here. And you may ask, well, why not just save this till later? You always save Wounded Coast till later in the other acts. The reason is the last 2 of those Lost Kunari swords are out here, and turning that in is a huge XP chunk. I mean, it rewards a lot of XP. You'll see when we get back to Kirkwall and turn it in. So that's pretty much why it's here. And honestly, if we had another level or 2 and maybe another item, you still have to run this gauntlet in one take on film. You know what I mean? And it's going to be hard whenever we come here. So that's why I do it this way. It took a lot of tries to get it right. So sit back and enjoy it the rest of the way. Yep, you guessed it. The Talvashoth are back hanging out in the Wounded Coast. And even though, we slayed the Airshok and all the rest, they're still willing to fight me. And you may have noticed I was canceling the lightning tactics and switching over to cold damage. Well, that's why.
Do you think they're tired? I'm sorry, I can't do anymore. You think they're tired?
I'll deal with this.
Nothing to worry.
Okay, with any luck, that did not look anything near what you would consider one of the hardest fights in Act 3, but it is. That Cerebos, the mage, that I was really holding off on engaging. There's the last Kunari sword, by the way. That Kunari mage will wipe your group. And in fact, he did. I was so pissed because I got through the undead fight on one of these takes. And then I came up here and I was, just like, oh, Kunari, I got this. You know what I mean? I killed the Airshok, duh. And that mage came around the corner, popped the lightning spell on my whole group, and we wiped. And I had to start over. So, that's how you do that fight, but trust me, it's really hard.
Seems to be unhealthy.
Okay, and you can see when there isn't a Kunari mage, a Sarabas in the mix, just, no problem at all. Now, again, this was an initial sweep of the Wounded Coast. I decided not to do like I did in the previous acts, where I saved up a bunch of things and then did just one visit to the Wounded Coast. It just didn't work out that way in Act 3, so we will be back here for more. But there is one more thing we can do before we leave now. It's called Who Needs Rescuing. It came to us through a letter. Basically, a nobleman, his daughter was kidnapped by raiders or bandits, and he just asked Hawke, can you please rescue her? She's out in the Wounded Coast, and it's right around the corner here, so we'll get to it and then be on our way. But notice I'm going back in and re-engaging some of those shock tactics and whatnot that I had taken off in order to fight the Kunari.
You there? Did my love send you? Will you take me to him?
Either your father didn't give me the whole story, or I really, really hope you're talking about someone else.
Fainriel, the man of my dreams. These brutes intended to take my maidenhood. As they argued about who would go first, I fainted. Then Fainriel spoke to me in a vision and told me not to fear. When I awoke, the men had slain one another. Please take me to Fainriel. I want to thank him properly.
I'm sorry, but I have no way to locate him.
Hey, what did you do to my man? I'll kill you for your good, ain't they?
It seems I must wait a bit longer for my love. Thank you for your aid. I will find my way back to Kirkwall. The walk will tire me, and we'll be reunited in my dreams. Fainriel, my love, I'm coming.
Okay, so in a roundabout way, something of an update on Fainriel. We know from the letter he mailed us that he made it to Teventer and he's, pursuing his studies there. But this, I feel like it's in there to show you that he's sort of pursuing this dreamer ability that he has, and he's starting to kind of, master it and use it. And he's able to impact enter the dreams of others and then impact their, their feelings, their conduct in the waking world, etc. And it's probably there because of how we handled Fainriel in Act 2 when we went into the Fade, you know what I mean? If we hadn't done it the way we did it, that probably wouldn't be there in Act 3.
Have you located any Qunari blades?
This is what I found.
My task is complete. Your part in this will be noted. I must go.
And as promised, a huge chunk of XP for the Lost Qunari swords. Over 13, almost 14,000. Some of these side quests we turn in, we get 1,000 XP. That's almost 14,000 in one quest. Okay, so upgrading Rally. It'll now apply whatever upgrades Zoe's sustainables have. That'll also get applied to the companions. Varric took this skill that he's not going to use. He just needs to have spent 2 in that scoundrel tree in order to get the one I want. So it was just kind of a wasted point. I go ahead and put 2 more Constitution on Meryl and then upgrade her Hex of Torment. And now it lowers damage resistance, but also any damage that the target takes will be critical damage, so that's going to be big. And then I go ahead and take Martyr here. We've seen it. I don't have room for it in Tactics. I pretty much used it just to get to the passive for the next level. So a decent level up there. And notice we're already halfway. See the XP bar? It's over, well, it's about halfway full. Because of that huge chunk from the Qunari sword turn-in.
This ale isn't as good as it used to be. It was never.
You look familiar, Qunari.
Tal-Vashoth, once of the Wounded Coast. I had left my fellows. You convinced me to turn on them. It was long ago. I am now Maras, mercenary of Kirkwall. Time has been kind to your name, champion.
Does Maras mean something?
It means nothing. I have no role, except for what I choose.
Is that good or bad?
It just is.
So, interested in some work?
Yes, but not with you.
Why?
I do not work for those with titles. They do not have jobs, they have causes. When you stand for more, more stand against you.
Do I have to worry about this old scar?
I felt no kinship to those dead when they lived. You pushed, but the killing was my choice. It led to many more, for many reasons. So no, you and I are not enemies.
I'm surprised to see any Qunari or Tal-Vashoth in the city.
The Qunari died with the Arishak, as they believed they were meant to. Many Tal-Vashoth were also killed, just in case. Time has calmed those fears. Now I am hired as much for my appearance as my skill. Life is comfortably empty. I see the appeal.
Farewell then.
Panehedan, Sira Hawke.
Okay, some relatively profound, borderline Zen musings from the Canary way back in Act 1 that we met on the Wounded Coast. That's not for a quest or anything, it's just something I found there and I wanted to add it in for flavor.
You've got to realize this is kind of new to me. I didn't know Mara had a baby. If I did, I would have, I don't know, gone after her or something.
She used to say I was so much like you, and I didn't even know who you were. I guess I wanted to see for myself. I need some time to think about all this, but if it's all right, I'd like to come back and talk more.
I think I'd like that. Keep, safe.
Looks like you two had a good talk.
It was bloody awkward, that's what.
She looks nothing like you. Thank the Maker for small miracles,
Really? Hey. You know, I may not say this very often, but I'm glad you're one of the family. But seriously, next time, stay out of my damn business, girl.
And a nice happy ending to Gamlen's greatest treasure. And the devs, with a bit of humor, throwing in Gamlen's characteristic line at the end. Stay out of my damn business, girl. But yeah, I like that. It's a good quest, albeit kind of circuitous and, you know, run you all over the place, but I do like that one. Okay, so checking in at the Hawke estate.
I hope all is well. A new letter on your desk awaits your attention.
You know, you play Diamondback better than my cousin Vidar. You wag your tail whenever you have a good hand, though. Might want to watch that.
Is it brilliant or horrible that you played Diamondback with my dog?
All I'm saying is he'd be up more than 2 sovereigns if he watched his tells. My Uncle Emmett has a whole pack of rat terriers who play every week. They're a cutthroat bunch. You've got a long way to go to be their quality. Now don't take it bad. You're still better than Anders. Coming to the Hanged Man later?
Okay, so another companion interacting with Dusty. Always fun. And here we are. Letter from Sherrod, Gamlen's daughter. Okay, so a nice thank you there. And again, she seems like a cool cousin, you know what I mean? Now, speeding up here, doing some runes and a little bit of storage. What we're going to be doing for the rest of the episode, we're going to have Isabella join the party, and instead of running 2 rogues and including Varric, I'm actually going to have Isabella be the only rogue. So this is one of the only times, maybe the only time, that I play without Varric. And Isabella is our rogue. And I can't tell you why I'm doing that. It's not a quest for Isabella. We already did her companion quest, right? But you'll get it by the end of it. There's a very specific reason why I'm taking Isabella and not Varric. And granted, it's going to make things harder because the way I have Isabella built, we don't end up with that beautiful overpowering fog with area effect disorient and all the rest. And because she's a melee rogue, she gets in my way, right? So I can't always do Zoe's moves. So it makes things difficult, but you'll see why at the end of the quest. And the quest we're doing is called a Murder of Crows. If you recall, some Antevans, said there's this assassin, he's wanted, and he's hiding out with the Dalish in Sundermount. So we need you, Zoe, because you've had dealings with the Dalish in the past, and you can go where we can't and track this, this murderer down and bring him to justice for us, or bring him back to us for justice. So this is what we're doing with Isabella in Sundermount, a Murder of Crows.
Watch your step. You're such a slave driver. You happy now?
This is my favorite part!
I can't believe you're still not taking sides.
I told you, I only like to be on top.
I mean against the Templars. You like freedom, right? You hate slavery. Why wouldn't you side with the mages?
Maybe I just don't like you. Greetings, champion. That is what they call you in your city, isn't it? Did you need something? I hear there is a criminal hiding among the Dalish. He is not among us. This criminal of yours is set up in a cave away from our camp. He said there would be people looking for him, and to tell anyone who asked where he was. Why would he give away his position? He said he didn't want to endanger our people by asking us to lie for him. Not something you'd expect from a cruel and evil murderer, is it? He'll be waiting for you at the cave. Good luck trying to reach him, however.
That was a bit odd, wasn't it? If he came to the Dalish to hide, why did they give him away so easily?
Okay, we're going to stop at Master Island Shop, and I'm speeding it up while we sell off and clean up inventory. And the cave we're going to head to for this quest, it's the same cave that we went to in Act 2 for Meryl's quest, called Mirror Image. Remember, there was the big Vartarel, the giant spider boss and whatnot. So
Dalish crafting is second to none.
that's the area we're heading to. We're not actually going up the main part of Sundermount yet.
Die, bastard!
And some immediate gratification with the upgraded Hex of Torment that causes the target to take all critical damage. Did you hear that chain of criticals going off and see how fast we drop the Ogre? That spell is just amazing with the upgrade.
That was a bit odd, wasn't it? If he came to the Dalish to hide, why did they give him away so easily?
Okay, initially I just scan over here to get some loot. There's a chest and whatnot. Then when we come back and we encounter the first fight, you'll notice that I lead with Isabella for a trap, but she actually gets stuck in it. And when I leveled her up, I gave her 40 cunning, which is enough cunning to get any trap or lock in the game. But we've seen this, I think, maybe once or twice before. There are certain traps that are undetectable and undisarmable. So that's what happens with this first trap here.
From the look of these traps, the assassin was definitely expecting company. You're such a slave driver.
So we got a gift for Meryl off of that corpse. We also got the same gift. It's called a Sylvanwood ring off of one of the thieves when we first zoned into Sundermount, had that first fight with thieves. There's only one. I don't know why the game has two. And you know, later on when we're back in Kirkwall, you'll see that we present that to Meryl. And gain some approval from her for that.
Now you, I wasn't expecting.
I thought I smelled uneven leather.
Isabella! If it isn't my favorite pirate wench.
Shouldn't you be dead by now?
I could say the same, my dear. It seems we were both fortunate to find powerful friends, no? How do you do? My name is Zevran Aranai, adventurer and occasional assassin.
I've heard about you. You helped the hero of Ferelden stop the Blight.
At your service, my friend. I must admit, I was waiting for an assault by the Crows, not the mighty champion of Kirkwall.
How do you know I'm the champion?
Slayer of Canary, Deep Roads explorer, and a beauty to make the gods jealous. You underestimate your fame.
How do you two know each other?
How does anyone know Isabella?
Yes, well, you'll never know Isabella again if you keep that up.
I'll assume you're not talking about birds.
Oh, please, do not tell me you know nothing of the Antivan Crows. We are the finest guild of assassins, an object of fear throughout the lands for any man with wealthy enemies. Or I should say they are. I am no longer a crow, a fact they find unacceptable.
There must be more to it than you leaving the guild.
That is offense enough to the Crows, believe me. I may have also killed the last 4 assassins they sent after me, and older men. Oh, and the guildmaster. In fact, if you were a crow, you might make a fortune bringing me in. You should consider a career change. No, really.
I thought you'd be taller.
Ah, let me guess. A man named Nuncio has asked you to capture a dangerous killer, yes? What did he say this time? That I killed his wife? Butchered his parents? Sold his children into slavery? Or did he tell you he was a lawman from Antiva, charged with apprehending a ridiculously handsome fugitive?
He didn't mention how handsome.
Ah, so you've noticed. I credit my high cheekbones and pouty lips. Bring me to Nuncio if you wish, but I warn you, he surely intends to kill you. The Crows do not like loose ends, unlike myself. But you are a woman who can clearly handle herself, yes? Why worry? So, you can either tie me up, gag me, and then manhandle me. Or you can take me to Nuncio. Which will it be, I wonder?
You know him best. What do you think?
I've had better.
I meant about letting him go or not.
Oh, right. I'd let him go.
You're very compliant for a fugitive.
Compliant, yes, and very bendy. But truthfully, I know when I am outmatched. I would rather take my chances against the Crows.
I like your list of options. But does it have to be in that order?
I knew you couldn't resist my obvious charms. It's the accent, isn't it?
I'm not going to hand you over to someone who lied to me.
As a suggestion, you might wish to deal with Nuncio. If you don't, he will only come after you. It's been more than a pleasure, my dear champion. Fare you well.
Okay, so Zevran. Remember him, Dev, from Dragon Age Origins? He was a great dagger rogue companion in that game. And this is how they bring him back. And you're starting to see a little bit of why I brought Isabella. Recall after Zoe and Isabella first, you know, had a role in the sheets, we were talking to her about how she was married earlier in life, and she mentioned her husband was, you know, killed by an assassin. And she said, "Don't worry, I didn't hire the assassin." And then she kind of sighs and says, "Ah, Zevran," you know. So I don't know if you picked it up then. I didn't want to mention anything until now. But yeah, they have something of a past together. And you also notice Zoe was flirting, you know, with Zevran, which is a little weird because he's kind of strange looking, but it'll all make sense shortly why he did that. So yeah, we chose to let him go. As for that Vartero fight, I mean, wow, we totally kicked its ass. Big difference from, Act 2. Remember when everyone died except for Anders and he just had like a sliver of life left. So really pleased with how well the group handled that fight.
You didn't tell me the assassin you wanted captured was once one of your own.
So Zevran told you, did he? It really doesn't matter. This time, his warden isn't here to protect him. I am thoroughly disappointed. No one fails the crows and lives.
Ah, poor stupid Nuncio. The crows do like that saying, but I am living proof it's a lie. Why they insist on thinking they can kill people like you and the warden, I will never guess.
Let me tell you, it's a burden I bear on a daily basis.
You are nothing but a traitor and a coward, Zevran. You'll die here.
Yes, well, let's see how that works out for you. I'm sure you wish to loot the camp, yes? Talk to me when you're done.
All right, man. We got another first. Never gotten that on the first try before. Hands down, one of the hardest fights in Act 3. As you saw, it's quite a few enemies, and they are all assassins, man. They're all doing the backflip, stealthing, backstabbing, just, I mean, insane stuff. I mean, assassins, like I've been saying all along, are, some of the hardest enemies, and there's just a fight with like 8 of them. You know what I mean? So, super thrilled. This isn't a great chess piece, by the way, but it looks cool, so I thought I'd throw it on. But yeah, that's a first for me. Great fight. And to do it without any disorient, because we don't have Varric, and none of those cross-class combos, that was just awesome.
Excellent. Killing my former brothers in arms is oddly satisfying. I've little reward to offer you, champion, but perhaps this will serve as a token of my thanks. My dear Isabella, it has been a delight to see you again. You travel in fine company.
That's it? You're leaving? What about sex?
Still blunt as a dwarven hammer, huh? Well, why not?
I hope you haven't forgotten about me.
What? You can come too.
Indeed. The more the merrier.
Let's find someplace quieter.
Ha!
All right. What can I say, Devitron? I had to throw the only possibility for a threesome into the filming of our playthrough, man. Unfortunately, no hot, steamy, cutscene. but maybe actually that's better because Zevran is a really weird looking elf, and you know, the dialogue options where you're just like, I didn't realize how good looking, you know, it all just cracks me up. But, you know, that's why Isabella had to come along. Um, you can't have a threesome any other way. And I think you can have sex with him right there, but not with any other of your companions. It's only Zevran and Isabella and you, and only if, you know, you and Isabella are in a romance together. And you don't have to have the threesome. It's just that's the only way to pull it off. And I think in Origins there was a threesome possibility, but similarly it was only like a one-time thing with very specific partners. So Menage a Trois, I had to do it. Zoe and Isabella are, you know, free-spirited, sexually liberated, strong, you know, sensual women. And with that, we're going to leave off episode 23, Dragon Age 2. Zoe Hawke signing off. We'll see you next time.